Kieran hosted an Illuvium town hall yesterday. Okay, Thursday Australian time. And there was a lot of things that he was asked, that Rich talked to him about, that he said, and I'm going to go over all the really crucial and important points I took away from the town hall, but you should please go and watch it. I'm not going to cover everything, and I'm especially going to miss out on some of the governance things, because I think that's going to be better for you to hear it rather than it come from someone like me, because obviously I might have some sort of biases and things like that, and I want you to form your own opinions based on Kieran's sentiment. So I'm going to leave that for you. It is towards the end of the town hall, so you can skip past it if you really want to, but I recommend listening to it. I'm not going to cover everything. The first thing is that they're currently fixing a lot of bugs and crashes for PvP at the moment. That is the big one. Their PvP is pretty much done, but they're fixing bugs. The backend developers have been hired recently, and he said that he's been busy onboarding them and they are finally up to speed. I believe they've been onboarding for the past couple months. Apparently joining a large team and a decentralized team doesn't sound very easy, and I think that's a big part of the reason it's taken a little while to kind of get them up to speed and get everyone affiliated, but apparently everything's running really, really smooth right now. So they're being able to accurately estimate things a bit better in the future because they hired a new senior program manager, which I believe is called Lance. His name is Lance, and he'll be instrumental in helping estimate things for the game. So moving forward in terms of delays and things, that should happen even less often than it is now, because their new program manager will be able to kind of get a good understanding of the big picture when it comes to the development cycle of Illuvium. He also talked about how bulk buying and selling for decks and things like that are realistic possibilities in the future. I don't know if they're going to come out for open beta, but Kieran seems very, very keen on this idea, so expect it to come sooner than some of the other features after open beta launch at least. I believe it is after open beta, he said. So he was also asked about the time between PvP and open beta, if that time is enough, okay, for testing the game and so on and so forth. But Kieran's sentiment was really to consider that the open beta isn't perfect. It is called open beta for a reason, and the full launch of the game is kind of where things are more considered to be perfect. And so a little bit of things being rough around the edges here and there is not a big deal. Although the game is still more polished than anything else in Web3, so I wouldn't really take that to heart. The scope is locked in for open beta. Kieran made that very, very clear. And he also said that Illuvials won't be in the overworld for open beta, but there will be some things in the arena and overworld that we haven't seen before. So there's some new stuff coming that we've never seen. I don't think they're going to be big, major feature overhauls or anything like that, but there is some stuff to get excited about. Also, someone asked if Arena and Overworld PB3 will be coming out at the same time. They will be. So the big thing is that all Illuvials will be finished by open beta. Kieran's very confident of that. But there are 4 to 5 lines that they're finishing up and things like that that won't make it into the PvP beta and obviously Overworld PB3. But the 3 that are being added are the Sloth, Water Buffalo, and the Squid lines being the final 2 stages, a Fisto and the one before it. Grant also made a surprise appearance and talked a bit about the art direction of the game and kind of where they're at with all of that sort of stuff. So, a bunch of major things have happened. Firstly, they've improved the pathability, especially on Crimson Wastes and Abyssal Basin. Grant was really not happy with the state of Abyssal Basin when it came out. Artwork and stuff was obviously great, but playability, it was overly difficult, I think he thought. So they'll also be doing adjustments to lighting and shaders to make the game easier to run, which is huge news for so many people. Also, don't forget to stay through to the end of the video. I've got an awesome website link for you guys. So he's made adjustments to the lightings and shaders and things like that, so that it's easy to run on many different kinds of computers, which I think is going to be big for a lot of people, but I already heard that it was huge improvements from PB1 to 2. The other thing, and they've been working on some of the other regions now, although I think they're focusing on some of the other NFT art and stuff like that, but they've been working on Tiger Boreal, and he thinks that it might be within 5 to 6 weeks of beta ready. Similar to the very early phases of Crimson Waste, so not perfect, but definitely playable. So that's really exciting that Tiger Boreal has come so far, even though it's not far from being fully polished. He also talked about how they recalibrated the color space across the entire game. Now, he does say that this will be a subtle difference, but it will be less contrasty and less difficult on the eyes, so you'll be able to play the game for longer a lot easier. And apparently it's the first game to update the color flow to be similar to film. The first time it's ever been done. I trust Grant on that, and I'm sure other games have maybe attempted it. But from what I've seen of some of those other leaks, it looks pretty awesome. And I think it's one of those things that many people probably won't notice, but it can make a pretty big difference, especially moving forward as everyone else starts to catch up, so that we're not going to feel outdated in 5 years when the gaming technology has improved substantially. It also feels like, sorry, they haven't been working on the 4 remaining regions heaps, and he's ensuring that the 3 existing regions are epic. He's been doing a lot of updates to them. They've also locked off Illuvium 0 for art, and Grant also talked briefly about how Tiger Boreal might be able to make it into open beta. Obviously, it's going to take a month or so until you unlock the next region and things like that. They've got some systems in there. So Tiger Boreal might be able to come out really quickly after the first 3 regions. And then maybe the 3 regions after that might even be able to come out monthly or bi-monthly. It's going to be really interesting. So Kieran also came back and people asked him how the fuel pool is currently tracking. It is now called the Fuel Exchange. I believe that is going to be the official name for it moving forward. If you hear me call it that, that's what it is. Basically, the game design team is working with the game sub-council closely on this, and it is important to keep it accessible to the mainstream. They're deciding on the upper bound for fuel, obviously, and Kieran would rather it eventually go to an open order book altogether, although I don't know what the timeline for that might look like, but he's not in any rush to do that. But he would definitely like to see that one day. This keeps it reasonable for new gamers, and if the price goes lower at any point from the order book, then players will get a bonus of their fuel when they purchase. They'll get fuel for cheaper while it's at those lower prices. They also say that a testable version of the Fuel Exchange could be ready next week. Now, this will be an internal test, but they've come a long way with the blockchain technology and the blockchain integration with the game if they're testing things like the Fuel Exchange, which is ultimately a very large part of the overall Illuvium ecosystem. So that's actually really exciting and probably one of the biggest things to take away from this video. And they'll decide on the price of travel and that sort of stuff over the next few months. So don't bother asking. I know there's a lot of debate at the moment, but they just simply haven't decided yet. So the next thing is that the Illuvium website is getting a huge overhaul. The big thing is that they're splitting the website into 4 different games. However, it'll still be obvious everything is interoperable with everything else. So if you're big into Pokemon and stuff like that, you might come across Illuvium Overworld. And the website you go into won't really talk about the arena and stuff all that much, and you'll get a really great look at the overworld and understand exactly what it's about. And that goes for the other 3 aspects of Illuvium, Zero, Arena, and beyond. And there will also be a story and lore section on the website, but you won't receive it all up front. It will come in chapters, which I think is awesome. If you guys want to see me read like chapters of Illuvium lore and theory craft and that sort of stuff on the channel, I will absolutely do that. That would be really exciting. Some of my favorite YouTube channels at the moment are theory crafting for Star Wars and stuff like that. I would love to give it a try myself. So now the moment of truth. Let's take a look at the, how do I put this? The website leak that was dropped in the chat during the town hall. You might not even see this on the Illuvium YouTube channel that's posted the town hall. So let's get into it. I'm going to play this video and talk through it a bit. You can see right at the front, it looks blurry, but it's not actually. All right, let's do it. It looks so cool. And you can see gameplay on a website. Finally, freaking Web3 cannot seem to get this right. That's a really nice piece of artwork. Got the Illuvium 0 artwork, obviously. I'm loving all of this. The animated Illuvium 0 art, some of the best stuff. Illuvium Beyond. Find out the latest. It's so cool. You go to the top and you can see all the different games and everything like that. There's a much better banner than what they had before. I'm a big fan of these sorts of banners. I even work on some websites at work and we use this sort of stuff. That is a really cool animation. Wait. Let's jump back to that. Hold on. Look at this. They're all like animated and everything inside the little box. Oh, that is mind-bending. It's the little things. Very cool. So I believe Grant recorded this himself and then just leaked it because he said, screw it. Illuvium Beyond, also awesome. Very detailed stuff. So they're in the overworld page now. So one of the things that's quite interesting for me is I always thought Star Atlas had a really cool website. They did something out of the box, highly impractical, really fucking useless. If you want to learn about Star Atlas, it's the worst website in the world. But I thought it was pretty cool. It was pretty novel. But it looked like Illuvium has made theirs super premium as well, right on par with Star Atlas, but you can actually use the website. So that's really thankful. This is no shade at Star Atlas, the game, the community, whatever. Just, I hate their website. It's fucking terrible. But I really like the design and style of it. It's one of my favorite things ever. So it's kind of funny. I both love and hate it. Anyways, I'm not going to talk about that. But the new Illuvium website looks absolutely incredible, and I'm all here for it.